Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Xal, and over the past few expansions, we saw the rise of meta achievements and meta mounts as rewards popping up out of nowhere, with the meta achievements essentially being a wrap-up completionist challenge for players that want to give a end of an era a bit of a send-off with a unique reward. From the BFA meta achievements, where you basically have to do everything BFA has to offer, you got the Johnny Trash Loa mount. For Shadowlands, you got the Zoval Dragon, which was an addition added later after Shadowlands was over. And for Dragonflight, we got Tyvan, the goodest boy in the world. And they continue this tradition with even more meta mounts heading into Midnight, with the War Within meta mount being the Geargrinder MK11. A mount that was found during the Midnight Alpha, as well as all the achievements required in order to unlock it. And the best part is you can actually start working on this mount today, so when Midnight drops, you'll be able to immediately earn this mount and have it unlocked automatically. So if you're looking to add yet another mount to your collection, I wanted to go over a guide on everything you will need to do to unlock the Geargrinder MK11 and all the achievements you should focus on right now on unlocking in order to unlock this beauty once it launches with the Midnight expansion. As always, if you want to see more guides such as these for War Within or possibly from future Midnight content, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So the first three achievements I'm just kind of going to combine together, and those are going to be the raid achievements, one for Nerebor Palace, one for Liberation of Undermine, and the other is for Manaforge Omega. And essentially those achievements are going to be made available towards the tail end of when this achievement and the mount will be made available. Essentially all you got to do is slay every single boss on any difficulty from all of those raids. You don't have to do it on normal, heroic, mythic, or any other part, just whatever is available for you. So right now, I think it's a good time if you do find a group that's doing all the raids for any achievements or any of the rewards, maybe even transmog, definitely worth doing while this expansion is still active, because I don't think this expansion is going to be made until Legacy and Soloable once Midnight comes out, so you might as well do it while it's current content. Essentially, just got to do a full run. Doesn't really matter what difficulty. Maybe even do an achievement run while you're at it. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be going for the achievements regarding the mounts from those instances as well. See if you can jump into one of those. Definitely worth your time in preparation. The next achievement you're going to want to get is That Khaz, which essentially means you got to leave no stone unturned and complete everything within Khaz Algar specifically. This includes a number of things like get every single Flight Master unlocked, which means just running around the entire map and unlocking them, which they're all very straightforward because a lot of their locations are displayed on the map just for doing the exploration of all the original zones of Khazlagar. The next part is going to be the Glyph Hunter, and for the Glyph Hunter, I'll actually have a Wowhead article, especially in the comments section there specifically. They have all the maps where all the glyphs are, so you could get an add-on, or you can simply just look up where the maps are, or where the glyphs are on the map specifically. They have a pretty good article just telling you exactly where you gotta go. There's not that many glyphs to collect in Khazlagar either, so this one should be done fairly easily. The Lore Master, however, is going to take you a little bit, as you got to complete all of the quests for the achievements, and there's quite a lot to do. Essentially, you gotta complete the entire main quest and every side quest for all the different zones. So it's quite a lot to complete, but essentially, you just gotta do every single side quest, and those do show up on your maps, however, for the most part. So at least they're kind of easy to track. Now, the Lore Hunter, however, is going to be a little different. You got to discover a variety of different little objectives out in the open world through all the different zones for a little bit of lore. And for that one, I will also have a link down below. Also in the comment section, they have all of the coordinates available for players to find all of these different items. So that one is also going to be another link that you'll want to check out in the description section of this video, just to make it easier to find all of the different lore bits throughout Khazlagar. The next part of this is going to be the Khazlagar Diplomat. So you got to reach 25 renown with all the 4 major original factions of Khazlagar: Council of Dornagal, Assembly of the Deeps, Alofal Arathi, and the Severed Threads, which is fairly easy to do. There've actually been some buffs recently with some of the different catch-ups and leveling bonuses we've had, where players have actually gained additional reputation gains for all those major factions, and I'm assuming that kind of buff is probably going to reappear again before Midnight. So you could, if you're someone who doesn't really like grinding through renown, just wait until the buff is active and then start grinding through renown. But this is generally pretty easy to do. Just do all your weeklies, and eventually your renown is going to hit 25 with very little investment and effort into these factions. Last one is going to be to do all the quests in order to unlock the Earthen as an allied race, which is going to take a little bit of time. Essentially, you just got to do, and since you're going to be doing all the side quests anyway for the Sojourner of Khazalgar, the side quests of the Morning Rise, the Broken Tools, and Merrick's and the Steel Vein, you're going to end up completing them as you need to complete all the side quests anyway, and those are going to be also part of unlocking the Earthen. So as you're doing all the side objectives, you'll eventually get the requirements needed to unlock the Earthen as an allied race if you haven't done so already. Now the next achievement is going to be Xal No Pass, which we actually did a guide for a while ago. This is one of those achievements that allowed you to earn the Shadow of Doubt unique War Within mount that was rewarded for. This was essentially the part 1 of the big War Within meta achievement that awarded you with the mount. Not quite a unique one, but a recolor of one of the more lesser used mounts in general. There's only a couple of variations of those that you can unlock. And you got the Xalatath Void shadowy version with Shadow of Doubt. This one took a little bit of time as you got to do basically a lot of the different objectives within all the zones. Even on the Siren Isle, which was eventually added as part of the, I think, 0.7 patch update before Season 2 content. So this one definitely is going to take a while, but I would just refer to the video that we did a while back that went over all the requirements that you need to complete in order to get Xal No Pass, which you can find the video link to that in the description of this video specifically. The next achievement is going to be the War Within Pathfinder. We're going to complete the War Within achievements listed below, and they are essentially just the main story questlines of all the zones. The Isle of Dorn, the Hollowfall, Ashkahead, and Ring of Deeps, which you'll need to complete the main story questlines for other achievements anyway, so there's a good chance you'll unlock this along the way. The only extra bonus one you'll have to complete for the Pathfinder is to explore the entirety of all the Khazalgar zones, and if you don't know all the side quests and are looking for all the different lore elements all over the zones, there's a good chance you're going to end up discovering the entire zones, but however, there are going to be some pockets in Ashkahead that don't necessarily have any unique items there, but you will still need to go out of your way to map them out specifically to discover them on your map. So just basically, it's all about flying around and being able to get a bunch of different locations unlocked and cataloged on your map in order to be able to get the Pathfinder achievement. The next achievement is going to be Glory of the Delver, where actually I only have one part to complete, so I'm not fully done with this one, but I'm pretty much there. And essentially for this, you just got to complete a variety of different Delve-specific quests. One of them being Delve Lore Master, which means you got to complete all Delve storylines, which may take you the longest time out of all the different completionists for this achievement specifically, as every single day or a couple of days, delves do get a different story for you to experience. And let's say like you have the fungal delve, like I don't know, the one in Khazalgar, the easiest one that you follow, Solo Fungal Folly. It goes through a bunch of different story variants every few days, so you basically just got to keep up with which story variants you've done and which ones you haven't done, and you got to experience them at least once for a full run in order to be able to catalog all of those pieces as part of the Glory of the Delver. Now, some of the other ones that are fairly easy to do, the No Treasure one is going to take a little bit of time, as essentially you just got to find all the hidden sturdy chests throughout all the delves. And as you can see, I completed most of them, but not all of them. Kriegville's Rest is one that I haven't completed all the way. Mycomancer's Cavern, Waterworks, Excavation Site 9, which this is a delve that I barely ran, to be honest, ever since they came out. But essentially, you just got to find all of them. And they're hidden through a variety of different corners and secretive locations. And some are really tough to find. Some of these chests are available only during certain delve storylines. Like, I think there's one that's like a Nerubian delve, where you have to have access to this web shooter in order to be able to get up really high up to different locations of a delve. Unless you play Demon Hunter, where you might be able to double jump to access those areas. But during certain stories, some of these chests are going to be made available and are much easier to unlock than others. So this one is going to take a little bit of while. I will have a link down below on the sturdy chest specifically, because out of all of these, this one and some of the locations is going to be sometimes difficult to find all on your own. So hopefully that link will make it a little bit easier. From there, we have some of the more unique delve story activities that you have to complete. So, for example, in a Fungarian delve, you'll have these explosive spores, and essentially to get Spore Sweeper, you need to do a delve of tier 8 or higher without being hit by a single explosive spore, which is fairly easy as long as you've been very, very careful. And there's a bunch of other these that are very, very similar, like Spider Senses, where you gotta successfully complete a Nerubian delve without spawning ambushers from the Nerubian webs. Essentially, you just gotta do the run without touching those webs to begin with. There's also one with a Daystormer, so in order of the night delve where you're fighting against those Arathi type enemies, you need to make sure you don't get targeted by the artillery. So there's gonna be purple circles all over the place, and sometimes they'll move around. You essentially just cannot get targeted by one of these, just to make sure you have an easiest time getting the Daystormer achievement. And then there's also one that says brand development, which has you finish up leveling brand to level 25, which I was surprised by, but it looks like that achievement may be sticking around exactly as is. Technically, brand can go all the way up to level 100, and there's a good chance as you're doing delves that brand is going to be way higher level than 25 naturally, so this one you won't necessarily have to go out of your way to complete. You also have Nemesis quests, my first Nemesis, my new Nemesis, and my Stab Hammer Nemesis, which are the Nemesis bosses of the delves for each and every one of the seasons, Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3. I'm not really sure what they're going to do with this achievement in the future, because right now, like once you defeated the first Nemesis, that whole delve without fight is gone because it was only available during Season 1. And then also the Underpin boss for my new Nemesis was only available in Season 2. So maybe they'll find a way to bring back those Nemesis maybe towards the tail end of War Within, so you can encounter them for this achievement specifically, or maybe they'll rework this portion of the achievement, but at the very least you gotta complete at least one of the Nemesis encounters in order to be able to get the Nemesis unlocked for the delves. The next achievement is going to be Go in Goblin mode, where you have to experience the sights, the sounds, and the smells of the Undermine by completing following achievements below. And there's a bunch of things for you to complete. One of it being the Adventure of the Undermine, where you just have to complete at least 10 of the following special encounters, which are rare encounters within Undermine. And I feel like with how often they spawn and how regularly they spawn, and the fact that they're literally listed on your map when they are up, it makes it very, very easy for you to complete at least 10 of them. The other difficult one I think is going to be the Treasures of Undermine, and for this one we'll actually have a link also that can be found in the description of this video in order to help you discover all of the unique treasures. Technically you can find them just by walking around, but looking up their treasures specifically just makes this part of the achievement that much easier, so honestly you might as well do it. The next one that you'll need also another link for is 9/10 of the Law, where you need to successfully unlock 5 Muffs auto lockers throughout Undermine. Unlocking them is easy, finding them can be difficult, so we'll have yet another link in the description of where exactly you could find them for the 5 additional Traders Tender that it lets you unlock. Read Between the Lines is another one where you have to run all over the zone to find certain items, specifically journals, in various locations. So for this one also we'll have a link down below just to make this part of the finding all the lore books a little bit easier. At least there's not that many lore books to discover overall though. That can do attitude is an easy one. Once you find a can on the side of a road, you just gotta kick it at the very least 50 times. It says on the achievement you only gotta do it 25, but in the new achievement it says you gotta do it 50. So at the very least, just get this achievement as early as possible in case the requirements will changes at some point in the future. And the final one is gonna be You're My Friend Now, where you gotta make friends with 5 grabbable rats throughout Undermine, which was a very fun achievement for early on. Also, some of these rats are a little bit more difficult to find, so for this one I will also have a link in the description just to make it easier for you to find those rats easily. Although you usually can use a macro to look for them, but looking for them and running around town is much harder than just looking up their location, so you might as well take the easy way out. The next achievement is going to be Owner of the Radiant Heart, where essentially all you gotta do is get Renown 10 with the Flames Radiance. The Flames Radiance is located over in the Hollowfall area, over in the western side of Hollowfall, where the Nightfall event happens. And all you gotta do to progress through that faction is to either do the quest or even better participate in the Nightfall event, which I'm pretty sure once a week it awards you about a 1 renown worth of progress. So if you do that about 10 times, or possibly less if you do all the different side quests, then you might be able to progress through it a little bit quicker. This one isn't difficult to do. You just gotta participate in a Nightfall scenario. I actually ended up doing it because there's a unique weapon that Outlaw Rogues could use within Mythic Plus content that you could potentially chance at a veteran track, and that's apparently your best slot for dungeons this season. But yeah, one of the easy ones to unlock. Just takes you a little bit of time to max out the renown with that mid-tier faction. Now the last achievement, which is something I'm still working on finishing right now, is Unraveled and Persevering, which is basically the Undermine exploration achievement, but for Koresh instead. And they have a variety of different requirements, like defeating all the rare creatures, which can take you some time. But the good part is, at least in Koresh, is whenever rares are up, they will show up on your map, so you can easily see whatever they are. And trying to see if you can run down and collect all the other rares can take a little bit of time. Some of these rares, however, do get summoned through the Warren quest, so some of them are going to be linked to Warren specifically. But at this point of the expansion cycle, a lot of players are kind of just like, I'm pretty sure you can buy the warrant required items in order to summon these rares in the auction house at this point, but also there's a lot of players that are just doing these warrants all the time. So it used to be only one specific rare a week with spawning, but now I think all of them are basically up all the time, so they're much easier to slay in order to make the rest of the list of the remnants of Shattered World. Another one I'm still working on is the Treasures of Koresh. I only have like a number of these to complete, though these are, with the zone being as big as it is, are sometimes hard to find. So for this one, I will also have a link down below for all of the hidden treasures of Koresh for you to find. The next one is going to be exploring Koresh, which means just flying around all over the zone. The zones themselves are broken apart, like different islands floating all out in space, so they are a little bit harder to find, like which ones you've unlocked, which ones you haven't on the map. But essentially just fly through all the major locations, and there's only a handful of them for you to discover, and that should be pretty easy to unlock. Next one is going to be Bounty Seeker, which has you completing a bunch of warrants. The Bounty Seeker does mean you have to complete 4 warrants of Koresh, which isn't that difficult. I mean, if you go for all 10, you literally unlock a new mount, so honestly, worth doing. But even just completing 4, which is pretty easy. Like I said, a lot of those warrants and a lot of the actual rares that you could summon can be found on the auction house, but the actual quests themselves do not take that long at all. Literally, as soon as you spawn into Koresh, you will see a map here with the Constable Zoardaz, who has all of the different warrant quests available, and you can complete one once a week. So at the very least, it's like a very easy area for you to find all of them all in one location. The next is going to be Dangerous Prowlers of Koresh. We have to find and pet all of the different Perkins of Koresh. And these things are Perkins, the limbed Perkin. They're like these cat ethereal entities, I would guess, but yeah, they're basically like space cats of sorts, and there's a bunch of them that you need to discover from C Team, Little Miss Phaser, Emperor, Mar, Koreshire, the King in Silver, and they're just located in a variety of different locations. Also, one of those that we'll have a link for if you just look at for the easiest way to find them, unless you actually want to do a little bit of this discovery all on your own to find all the different kitty cats. The next one is, there's a good chance you've already completed it, is the Power of the Reishi, which you gotta complete and upgrade your Reishi wraps. There's a good chance is by doing the weekly objectives within, and even doing endgame content within the season 3. There's a good chance you have all the currency needed to fully upgrade your cloak, and probably by this point you already have it fully upgraded as well. But if you still don't have it upgraded, I would go check in with the Overlook Zoshul. Technically, you could plug in a command in the game to open up the upgrade screen, but over there there's going to be a vendor where you can actually directly upgrade your Reishi wraps specifically. And the last one for Unraveled and Persevering is going to be Secrets of the Koreshi, where you got to find a bunch of lore objects within Koresh. A lot of players, however, did go after these items. This is something that a lot of players did early on because there were a ton of reputation. So if you're behind your rep with the Koresh faction, then definitely get all the secrets out of the way, as that'll give you a whole rank of renown for finding all of them. And again, for this one, for all the different lore books, we will have yet another link in the description for you to find all of the different locations to make it a little bit easier for you to be able to find all of them instead of searching for them yourself. But with that, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found this guide informative, go ahead and give it a like, as I would very much appreciate it. Also, be sure to our Discord community, where there I will actually have the written out version of this guide with a lot of the useful links that you can use when you're trying to follow on all the requirements on how to unlock this mount specifically. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in our next one.